Hello and welcome to Ludlow Elim Church Online. Great to have you with us. My name is Dain, if you don't know me, and I'm the pastor here at Ludlow. We do meet physically on a Sunday morning at 10:30. So if you want to come along, please do. All the information is on our website. Details of that is down below. If you want to ask us any questions, we've got our email address there as well. So please blast us an email or even give us a call, however you want to contact us. It'd be great to hear from you. Okay, I've been a bit slack on the recording and everything over the past month or so you haven't really got anything out on YouTube. And then when we tried to record again, it didn't work. So we're just working through some technical issues. But this past Sunday, we started a series on Joseph, on his dreams, the dungeons, and the destiny. And I kicked it off with the dreams and just looking at all the different dreams that kind of occurred or had Joseph kind of looking into in his life and maybe what lessons they have for us now. I started off with the question of, do you ever remember your dreams? Like I hardly ever do. I do sometimes, but I really, it's not something I often remember. My wife, Karen, she does quite often remember and have some very weird dreams. So it's a good one for a good conversation starter. What dreams do you remember? But I want to look at some of the dreams that Joseph interpreted, but also the dreams that he had, and just look at the lessons that we can get from there. Firstly, I started in the middle, really. So we got Joseph, he's been sold into slavery, he's been in Potiphar's house, and then gets falsely accused and then put into prison. So it's all a mess. He might be feeling what's happening to me, but in amongst all of this, he gets two guys, a cupbearer and a baker, and they're Pharaoh's cupbearer and baker, and they get put into prison. And on the same night, they have two separate dreams. One dream is about grapes and pressing grapes into a cup and giving it to Pharaoh. Another one is about bread and birds pecking the bread. One is a good dream, and it meaning that in 3 days' time, the cupbearer will be placing the cup back in the hand of Pharaoh. The other, not so good a dream, where the baker himself will be executed, which is not very nice in 3 days' time. And even though Joseph interprets these dreams when the guys had no clue and he gets it completely right, the cupbearer, the baker doesn't really have a chance, but the cupbearer forgets all about him. So what can we kind of pull away from these, like some lessons that we can learn? Firstly is like, what struck me is dreams are still relevant. If you've been having dreams at night and stuff like that, God could be speaking to you. It might be the cheese. It might be just your brain working. I know like science has a couple of different theories about dreams because I don't really understand it. They've got that you're managing hidden desires, solving problems, dealing with emotions, getting rid of waste in your brain. One theory is about protecting the visual areas of your brain from being co-opted by other sensory functions. So like there's lots and lots of theories of why we dream, and all of that could be true. None of it could be true. We don't know. But there are certain dreams that are from God. And God does speak to us through them. So that was the first one that kind of spoke to me. And I just at church, I challenge people of like, what dreams maybe you've had that have just stuck in your brain and you can't get rid of them. Maybe God's speaking through them. And then the other thought that I had in amongst this was that unlike the cupbearer, let's not forget what God has spoken. So if you have had a dream and you really thought it was from God, maybe it hasn't come about yet, but don't forget about it. Don't just put it away to one side. Just keep praying over it. Keep searching God on it. If he has really spoken, it will come to be. But it's his timing, not our timing, is it? That's annoying, isn't it? Really annoying. But anyway, so that was 2 thoughts from the bakers and the cupbearers' dreams. Then we get on to Pharaoh's dreams, which are even weirder, aren't they? 7 fat cows getting eaten by 7 thin cows, and 7 good bits of corn getting eaten by 7 withered bits of corn. Really weird dream. But the thing I got from that is that when God speaks, he will confirm it. So when Joseph hears these 2 different dreams that Pharaoh's been having, he said the 2 dreams are one and the same. God has confirmed what he is saying to you. And it's that thing of like God, whenever he speaks prophetically or anything like that, he will confirm. I remember a time when I was at Bible college. So I was reading through scripture, just reading my Bible, and as I normally do. And then Luke, I was reading in Luke, and I came across Luke chapter 9, verses 62, and it says this: "No one who puts their hands to the plow and looks back is worthy of me." And that hit me like a ton of bricks. It was like, okay, God, are you saying that I've put my hand to the plow here? I'm at Bible college and I need to kind of keep going. My plan, because I went to Australia, I was really blessed to be able to do that. And my plan was to kind of go there, go to Bible college, do a year, then go off traveling. I'll go to New Zealand, I go to Canada, see if I can get to the US. When the money runs out, then I'll fly back home. But that was my plan. But the day that I had or read this verse was the very day that I sat and had a coffee with a friend there, and he was going, right, are you going to do second year? Because I really think you should be doing second year. So it was like a confirmation for me, like God spoke through his word, and then he spoke through a friend as well, just the 2 working together to really say, you put your hand to the plow, don't look back. And God will give you that confirmation. If you're if you're unsure, God will confirm it. So don't worry about that. But what I really concentrated on Sunday wasn't just that dreams are definitely, or dreams can be God speaking and different things like that, and that God will confirm it, is the dream that Joseph had really kind of just set some thoughts, or actually how he responded to the dream, should I say, really got some thoughts going in my head. So the dream, you see in Genesis 37. So if you want to look for yourself, it's Genesis 37, 1 to 11. And so Joseph is like the favorite son. He gets this coat. All his brothers really get annoyed with him because he dobs them in and everything like that. And then he goes, listen, I've got this dream. We were like in the field, got 11 sheaves and my sheaf, and then all your sheaves bow down to me. Oh, how amazing is that? And then his brother's going, are you going to reign over us? I think not. And then then a bit later, he doesn't learn his lesson. He goes, oh, look, I've had another dream. The sun, the moon, and the 11 stars, they all come around me and bow down to me. And then he tells it to his brothers, and they are just so annoyed with him. And then he tells it to his dad as well, and his dad kind of goes, me, your mum, and everybody going to bow down to you? What? So, yeah, it's he really didn't know how to share. But with the dynamics in that family, I just wanted to, before we get onto the dreams, just focusing on that. It was a really dysfunctional family. The dad had chosen one son to be the favorite. There was 4 different wives, that all different kind of kids, and arguments and things kind of going on. All the fighting and the bitterness and the hurt and the pain that was in that family, it's crazy. And I got the thing of, even in the midst of a dysfunctional family, if you feel like your family is just dysfunctional and doesn't work or anything like that, don't worry. There's times in scripture where heroes of the faith had that. And it didn't stop them doing what God has called them to do. And in Joseph's case, it didn't stop him blessing his family and showing being like a kind of deliverer, being like this kind of Jesus figure in the Old Testament, kind of like he is kind of being kind of sold away, kind of like not that he was innocent, but he was kind of treated really badly, but he provided a way for his family to survive. And God can work through you to bless your family, even if you feel like your connections have been broken or there's strife and stuff like that. God can still work through you to bless your family. All right, I wanted to encourage you with that. And then a couple of different thoughts. Firstly, knowing the end of the story, these dreams and everything are definitely from God, aren't they? That first dream where you got the sheaves of wheat, the whole thing of Joseph is that he goes to Egypt and then he talks to Pharaoh about storing wheat and storing it for those 7 years and then providing for the whole land, about saving a nation. And of course, then his brothers do all come down to Egypt and bow down to Joseph to get grain. So this dream was completely true, but it took a lot longer for it to happen than what I would think Joseph would have thought. So don't get despairing. If you think God has taken a long time over maybe something he's spoken to you, don't despair. God is on it. If he has spoken it, he is faithful to complete it because he is faithful to his word. So it might take a long time, but he is always faithful. All right. I think what really impresses me about Joseph is he made a decision to trust God. Even though it went all crazy for him, even in prison, he's still saying, doesn't God have the ability to interpret dreams? Let me hear this dream. He trusts God. And I think dreams need decisions. Dreams need decisions attached to them. You need to decide, are you going to trust God? And then going back to that point, so that was one point, but going back to the thing of knowing the end of the story. So we know that Joseph becomes this like second in command in Egypt, and he gets bowed down to and everything like that. I imagine Joseph didn't see that as the end of the story or the interpretation of this dream. He probably thought that his dad would just give over the running of the family to him and he become the boss and everybody have to bow down to him. But it didn't work that way, did it? So if you've been given a dream or you felt God spoken to you, don't kind of say it has to happen exactly with what you see. Maybe it is just a kind of vision of what it could be. Like those sheaves bowing down to Joseph was exactly what was going to happen, but maybe Joseph thought it was going to happen that he was going to be put in that position by his father rather than have to go through the slavery and the prison and going into the palace. So the journey to get to the place where you feel or you know that the dream is taking you might look very, very different. So trusting God, it's only a hint. It's a light unto our feet. His word is a lamp unto our feet. So this is just it's giving you like a heads up of where God's taking you so you can trust him. It's not defining how it's going to look. All right, that's what I would say about dreams and prophecy and stuff like that. Then I just wanted to share last two points and then I'm going to be finishing. So the when Joseph shared these dreams, so let's be generous. Maybe the first time he just gets this dream from God. So God has spoken to him, as we kind of thought about before. So I don't know about you, if you've ever felt God speaking to you, you are buzzing, you're overwhelmed. So maybe he did feel like that and he just felt he needed to share it. It just blabbed out of him. So, you know, maybe he didn't see or maybe didn't care, unfortunately, about how it landed with his brothers because they just hated him all the more. But it is that kind of like when God kind of impacts us, sometimes we can just be like, oh, but maybe we need to be a little bit more thoughtful in how we share stuff and who we share stuff to. Maybe if he had shared that with his father and kind of done it in a gracious way, maybe his dad would go, okay, maybe we'll put this, think about this. Maybe God's speaking to you here, kind of thing. So might have been if he had maybe said it better and said it to the right person, you know. But anyway, just an illustration really. I remember a time when we had a prophetess come to our church and I was just really blessed. I felt God actually really speak to me and I just wanted to respond. And I was part of the worship team at the time. I was only about 17, 18, something like that. And I just got up and I was kind of playing because I just wanted to worship God. And then I had a couple of people come over and go, quiet down, because the lady who is the prophetess who was just speaking into people's lives, she was really sharing what was on God's heart for people. She couldn't concentrate because I was responding and being a bit noisy. And it's that thing of, yes, God has spoken to you, yes, God has moved, but maybe you don't, maybe strum the instrument a little bit more gently. You don't have to blast it out, but strum a little bit more gently and more thoughtfully so others can hear from God as well. So just a little thing of like, be wise how and who you share stuff with. And the last point is the first time he has two different dreams. So he has the sheaves and then he has the moon, sun, and stars. So the first dream, maybe he was just unwise. But the second dream, he would have known how it had landed with his brothers. And then he still shares it with them in a fairly arrogant way. So this is blatantly rubbing it in. And then he shares it in front of his dad. And then his dad tells him off. But this is like the last kind of thought of, if God speaks, it doesn't make you any more special than anybody else. That's not the purpose of God speaking to you. It's actually because God wants to work through you to bless others. That's why he's speaking to you. So the purpose of having dreams, visions, prophecy, or anything is so God can work through you to bless others. The whole point of Joseph's dreams were to show him that when he gets to the place of being in second command to Pharaoh, it's so he can bless others. As you read the end of the story, what you meant for evil, God meant for good. In chapter 50 of Genesis, Joseph talking to his brothers. It's like, what you meant for evil, God meant for good, so you could save us as a family. It's not about us. It's all about him and him wanting to work through us. So dreams definitely are for today. Definitely can be God speaking to us. And let's not hold on to them, not forget them. Let's trust that God will confirm them, because God confirms it through his word. It will always line up with his word. And normally you'll then confirm it through other people and everything like that as well. It can take a long time for it to come. Make that decision, because dreams need decisions. And they're a lamp unto our feet. His word is a lamp unto our feet. It might not look exactly how you saw it. Be wise in how and who you share it to. And most importantly, it's not about you. It's about God working through you to give him glory and for others. All right. Hope that's blessed you. Hope God spoke through that. And if you want to have a chat about this or anything else, please contact us. Email and our website address is in the description below. And I think that is all I need to say. And I'll hand you over to the notices. God bless, guys. See you again.